My next guest, Steve Davis, who's somewhere on the road back from Melbourne. Hello, Steve.
G'day, Richard. Just gone through Dimboola.
All right. How was Dimboola today?
Oh, Dimboola was lovely and quiet, right. Unlike the centre of Melbourne.
Unlike the centre of Melbourne. And what were you doing in Melbourne?
I had a number of meetings this week in Melbourne, and my family went to see Olivia Rodrigo, who is quite a good singer.
Oh, very good. And everything. What's Melbourne like at the moment?
Well, one thing that struck me is it's just a constant busyness. Like there's a thump of energy all the time. We were right out in Blackburn, which is a suburb about 20, 30-minute train ride out of the city.
Right.
And it was still intense. Like normally here in Adelaide, you got to pull into traffic. There's normally a break, and you hop in. It's just no break.
If you're lucky, say yes.
If you're lucky, yes. So, and I'm just keen to get back. So we've actually, my 16-year-old's driving. My wife is supervising her at the moment, and I'm crammed in the back seat of the car.
Very good. Now, you want to talk a bit about tourism today, don't you?
Look, I do, because when I landed there was a bit of free time built into the week, and I thought, let's see what Blackburn has to offer. And it just got me into one of my soapbox areas, because I work with a lot of people in tourism, and there's a lot of really generic, lazy writing that happens. So this is what Blackburn said. This is how it sold itself, Richard. See if it sets you on fire. Things to do in Blackburn. Blackburn's a great place to explore and experience a variety of activities. For those looking for active experiences, there are parks and trails to explore, as well as a variety of sports and recreation facilities. For those looking for a more relaxed experience, there are plenty of cafes, restaurants and pubs to enjoy. No matter your interests, Blackburn has something for everyone.
It's a bit generic, Steve.
You could actually just swap out Blackburn for Adelaide, and that would be a perfect fit. We've got all of those things.
We do. We do. Why go to Blackburn when you can just stay in Adelaide?
Well, that's true, except my meetings are over here. Otherwise, I wouldn't have just... It didn't teach me anything. There was nothing there. And this is where, unusually, I get to quote Leonard Cohen in my marketing work, because he said one thing that was really important to marketers and writers. In the particular, we find the universal. So what he means by that is you mention something specific and it's powerful. We can latch onto it, and then we can make our imagination fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
But if you start with these sort of generic things, we can't make up the specific stuff. So if I applied that to marketing, if there was a town or a region or a suburb that said, our state BMX championship team trains in our Central Park, and the area is home to the $1 million Absurdist Art Prize, I think we can work out there's going to be a BMX track there that the kids will like. The art galleries are going to be interesting. We can actually make some assumptions based on that. But if it was just our park has many uses available and we have art galleries, we don't get any of there's nothing special to sort of grab our attention.
No.
And I thought what I would do, because I went down a rabbit hole, and I want to subject you to a quiz, Richard.
Right.
Are you up for a quiz?
I'm always up for a quiz, Steve.
So you're here to defend the pride of South Australia. So
right.
I've got 3 quotes. I'll do one at a time.
Okay.
They're from different tourism regions in South Australia.
Yep.
And to make this easy, I'll give you the multiple choice first.
Right.
This is either describing York Peninsula, Clare Valley, or the Limestone Coast. You have to guess which one.
Just no pressure.
No pressure. With many cafes and antique shops sure to captivate every visitor, from the coffee lover to the wine buff, there is something for everyone.
I'd say York Peninsula.
You got that one. Well done. You're on a roll here.
Right.
This is good. You got super. Next one is Barossa Valley. McLaren Vale, Barossa Valley, or Coonawarra. And I'm just replacing their name with the word X. X is one of the world's great wine regions, renowned for food, cultural experiences, and easygoing lifestyle. Take your time to soak in the wealth of X experiences on offer, from cycling tours to slow digger stations through the festivals, cultural events, and hands-on experiences. X has something for everyone. Is that McLaren Vale, Barossa Valley, or Coonawarra?
I would say it's McLaren Vale.
It is Barossa Valley, but it could just as easily be McLaren
exactly
Vale.
Right.
And here we go. Kangaroo Island, the Riverland, or Eyre Peninsula. There's something for everybody here. Nature and wildlife, food and wine, adventure or relaxation. X has it all and more.
Any of them.
I know. That was actually Riverland.
Right.
Kangaroo Island.
Kangaroo Island. Yeah.
But it could easily be, and this is my point.
Yeah.
It fills up the brochure, but it doesn't actually teach people anything.
No.
Clare Valley's done something a bit different. They say our regions for those who seek substance and authenticity, taking the road less travelled, and enjoy taking a moment to appreciate what life has to offer, which is nothing generic like the rest, but it still doesn't. It could apply anywhere as well, to a lot of different places. And so there's a bit of a mission that I'm on to try and get regions to just stop and try and dig their heels in a little bit and find out what's specific or particular about what it is they're selling in a way that actually applies to the people who are ideally going to be travelling and making the most.
Because you can't keep having that generic statement out there for it. You can't. To me, I mean, that's just lazy marketing.
And I think the problem probably is it could be people who have to write this stuff who are under pressure from a manager who say, "Oh no, you can't leave out that group, and you can't leave out that group," and they end up speaking to no groups, of course. Mind you, I'm not pointing the finger just at South Australia. This is what Paris.
Yeah.
This is what Paris says. Paris offers something for everyone, whether you're an art lover, history buff, or a foodie. I mean, that could be anywhere, and on it goes. But there is a great example in the world of tourism right now, and it's Oslo. Oslo has an incredible advertising campaign where they've actually got this 31-year-old guy who is deadpan. His name is Halfdan, and he just has this real, sort of dry Aussie style of talking about his town. And I think you've got the ad queued up for us to have a quick listen to.
Yes, I do. Here we go.
I wouldn't come here, to be honest. Oslo is just not... I mean, is it even a city? You know what I mean? Everything is just so available. You know, there's no exclusiveness. I grew up here, and I temporarily live here, unfortunately. I don't understand why people go swimming in the middle of the city. It's disgusting. Have you ever been to Istanbul?
Oslo feels more like a village, maybe. I mean, you walk around a corner and it's like, oh, there's the prime minister. And you walk around the next corner, it's like, oh, there's the king.
I mean, you could just walk from one side of town to the other in like 30 minutes. Try that in New York or Paris.
It's an American architect.
Culture? I don't know. If you don't have to stand in line for at least a couple of hours, is it even worth seeing?
Not exactly the Mona Lisa. Sometimes I just walk right in off the street and get a table.
And I'm not even famous.
I mean, what does that tell you?
I think a city should feel a little hard to get. It's like a good relationship, you know? It's not supposed to be easy.
And I've got to say, Steve, when I saw that,
Yes.
I thought, what a great place to go to. Because it does highlight all of those, all those sort of things. And, there used to be an SA Tourism ad that used to be on it, the pictures all the time. It said people, diving in, which I'm going to say it's probably about 1% of that ad that we've just heard for Oslo.
Yeah. Look, I love it because he's making the positives just comedically be negative, which just draws us in. Like and laid back and giving us a sense of what they're like. Like if they could have that laid back sense of humour about themselves and not take themselves too seriously,
yeah,
they're good people. Like it's the ones who are so fragile have to keep saying, we're the best, we're the best. You know that there's a bit of desperation there. You can spell it in the air. But here's like, come if you want to. You walk in, you bump into the king. It's up to you, though. It really is up to you. And I think that's just the mature way, especially in 2024. There's so much media that we're all saturated by. There are messages nonstop that this just walks the line. It's not cynical, but it's not sugarcoating everything. It's just being playful with the idea. And when I see that, and then I compare to these brochures, which are everywhere, like it's worse than blackberry bushes growing wildly through the Adelaide Hills or Salvation Jane everywhere. All the things that say there's something for everyone, that's told us nothing.
But we do.
I want to share it with you.
Yeah, but we always, at the moment, I think we live in a society that likes to sugarcoat everything at the moment.
Oh, look, we do, and we're wired for that because nothing is better than getting a dopamine hit where you just get a dose of pleasure of something that's easy, convenient, delicious. But you have too much. You have to start doing things that are more and more extreme. Otherwise, the body doesn't give you that dopamine hit. And so when the words are just lazily saying there's something for everyone, we're jaded by that. And so it takes something like this Oslo ad to make us go, oh, hang on a minute, what? And now we're drawn into the world. Now, it doesn't have to be that way the whole time, but it's just Leonard Cohen's message. In the particular, we find the universal. Grab something that is unique, and from that, most of us, especially if we're the sort of people you're trying to attract, we'll get it. We'll be able to put two and two together. And I think we've got a great opportunity because next year the Australian Regional Tourism Conference is happening in the Adelaide Hills, and it'll be so... I'm starting to work on a presentation for it now. They haven't asked me yet. I'm just going to work on a presentation and set myself up on the footpath out the front.
Yeah.
And
just roll up. Just
on.
Roll up to it. Say yes.
And look, and I think the stakes are high because the regions are where we get such an array of different things we can experience. We get out of the city. Not that there's anything wrong with the city, but we have that change of scenery for most of us, and we need to do it justice. It deserves it. That bit of care to pique our interest, to draw us in. It's why you see menus that when they started saying not just tomato, but vine-ripened tomato, and little things like those little changes, which are now a generic, when they were first used, you go, oh, vine-ripened tomato.
Yeah.
And it's just this constant play to grab attention, but hopefully when it's backed up by something that's real.
No, very good. Steve, drive carefully. Oh, you're not driving, so who cares? But still, if your daughter can drive carefully, we would really appreciate it so you can come back into the studio next weekend. Where can people find out more about you, Steve?
Well, talkedaboutmarketing.com is the web address. Everything sort of leads there. Talkedaboutmarketing.com. And I'm about to hop into the driver's seat so we can go from 80 kilometres an hour back up to 100-ish.
Very good. And well done for getting your daughter to drive as well. It's good training on country roads.
Oh, absolutely. And she's only overtaken 17 semi-trailers since we've started the conversation. So
now you're making me nervous, Steve. That's great. All right, Steve, we will talk to you next weekend. Steve Davis talked about marketing. He comes on every Saturday here on FIVEaa.